are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
Hello, and welcome everyone to again another fantastic Tuesday where we're getting ready to again fill you with as much of this credit knowledge as possible, helping you get to that next step, that next level, because we know it's challenging out there. We know the struggle is real. The struggle is so real. That's why we do this every single Tuesday. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to, again, Leverage Your Score with your dressed down CEO, Tyrone Glover, coming to you live from my hometown, right there. Where's it at? Right there, City of Yonkers. That's where we are, City of Yonkers, coming to you live where we do it every single Tuesday. You are our guest. You are our friend. You are the persons that we really want to make sure gets this knowledge, gets this creme de la creme, the best of what we possibly can provide to you, because we know you need it. They just did an amazing thing by passing the first part of this two-part series, the Build Back Better. It's on its way. We got the infrastructure done. Again, there's going to be a lot of money, and I just wanted to touch on this very briefly, but there's going to be a lot of money coming down the pipeline. How did this all tie into the last two shows? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how it all tied into the last two shows. So it's really important now, folks. We already see some movement. We already see some traction going in that direction of here. This is going to be coming down the pipeline. Who's going to be ready for it? That's my question to all of you. Who's going to be ready for it? It's going to have to be that you're doing more than just the bare minimum. And this is going to help you. Today's show is going to help you with understanding what you should be doing so that you can capitalize off of the infrastructure and equally off of the Build Back Better. So again, as always, thank you everyone who makes that time to come out every single Tuesday and join me as I drop these massive gold nuggets for anybody to get. For anybody who wants to get, I drop these huge, massive nuggets for you so that you can excel, make yourself financially independent, and also find that financial stability and freedom that we all seek. There is way too much or too many resources out there today, and a lot of us are not capitalizing off of it because we just don't know how to do it. That's why these shows are so important, and I can't thank Soul City enough for giving me the platform. I can't thank Matt enough for being that amazing young man who helps me with making sure that these shows are always on point. I can't thank Jasmine enough, another fantastic, amazing human being who also equally makes sure that I'm ready to rock and roll every single Tuesday. And for those two, I thank them tremendously. Also got to give a shout out to Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse. Again, I keep saying it over and over and over. I'm just the platform. I help get that house erected so that it can stand effectively. And what I mean by that is that I lay down the platform. I lay down exactly what you need to be able to build those two walls. then those back and front walls, then that roof. That's where Dr. Yana B comes in. Again, if you're watching this show, you should equally be watching Access Wealth Nation, because what that's going to do is going to allow for you to, again, complete the package. Get your credit, that baseline, that foundation, get that taken care of, and then move to those next other understandings. Because if you do that, I'm telling you now, as this money is making it into your communities, as it's making it into your state, as it's making it into your pocket, if you're doing the one thing that I'm going to be showing you today, if you're doing that part, I guarantee everything that you're seeking, everything that you want, it will be obtainable. You just got to want it more than those who are offering it to you. I have a special shout out to give to my niece, Big Hands, Hair Hands by Teeks. Again, Big Hands, Hair Hands by Teeks. She is now the newest, latest, greatest entrepreneur here in Yonkers. She stepped out on her own. Now she's doing her thing. Congratulations to my girl. Congratulations on this new endeavor that you are about to embark on. You're going to be amazing. You're going to be so good for the community, for the up-and-comers who are following in your footsteps. I am so proud of you. I am super excited to be in your corner to show you as much love and understanding so that this business that you're getting ready to embark on, it thrives, it grows. And everyone who does know me or knows her, give her a shout out on her Instagram page, follow her on her Facebook page, all these social media outlets. Let's give it up to my girl, Big Hands, Hair Hand by Teeks. And as I always say, you know you need these big hands. So congratulations, Shatika, on all your continued success. And as always, got to give it up to the creator. Now, if you haven't already thanked him for waking you up this morning, you might want to get down on the knees and say, thank you, Lord. If you're about to go to that next shift, or if you're about to call it an evening, you might equally want to get on those knees and say, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Just thank the creator, because no day is promised to us. Not one day is promised to us. But as long as we do and serve as he chooses us to serve, then there's going to be nothing that we can do wrong. So without further ado, let's jump right into the topic at hand. As we already know, Leverage Credit Recovery is here for you. It's here to help you get to that next level. It's here to make sure that whatever it is, your desires, your deepest financial desires, your deepest understandings about how does this all work? How does credit really work? How does it really impact my life? Well, I'm getting ready to tell you, it impacts it a lot more than you possibly think. And if you don't use it, you need to start using it. And if you have had issues with it, you need to start addressing it. And if for whatever reason, you just think, oh, it's not going to be something that I can ever get on track with or on par with, well, I'm here to tell you, absolutely. That's going to be one of the first things that any lender is going to be looking at. They're going to look at whether or not you are credit worthy. Every single person here in the United States is credit worthy. You just got to build yourself up to that understanding. And this is what our job is here to do. It's here to help citizens, whether you are African American, whether you are Hispanic, whether you are Middle Eastern, whether you are Asian. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. And clearly, if you are Anglo-Saxon, it does not matter. Poor, middle class, rich, wealthy. Again, think about those four groups that I just mentioned. And each one of them desires credit. Each one of those groups desire credit. Because again, if you're looking to become a middle-class citizen and you were previously someone who resided in that poor realm, well, again, your credit's going to help you get to that next level. If you are someone who has been in the middle class and you are now desiring to start seeing yourself in the, I'm not going to say rich, uber wealthy, but I'm going to say someone who's in that $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 range, again, you're going to need that credit, because that credit is what's going to help you solidify all of these financial obligations, all of these deals that you might be seeking to get into. And I'm telling you, interest rates are the lowest that they have possibly ever been. And it's been this low for a while. And the feds keep talking about, oh, we might be raising them, we might be lowering them, we might be raising them again. I'm telling you now, if you focus on what you have to focus on, your credit will get you there every single time. These shows are super important, and I ask that everyone make that time. Get out there and let us know, what do you want to hear? What is really on your mind? Because if you tell me, I'll put the show together for you. It's no problem. As a teacher in school, I love my profession. I love being able to go into school because my students ask me, they say, hey, Mr. Glover, can you tell us this? Can you teach us this? Boom, I'm on it. So let's jump right on into it. As always, leverage credit recovery. Our recovery depends on what we do now. So if you want it as much as I want it, then please tune in, join in the conversation, send us some comments as we go through these PowerPoints, and hopefully you'll be able to walk away again with some solid gold nuggets. All right, so the importance of today's show is going to be highlighting the importance of documenting your findings, results, and violations. Can you do this with your current documentation? Exactly, you can. We're getting information back and forth all the time from whether it be these third-party monitoring systems, whether it be directly from Equifax, Transunion, Experian, whether it be from annual credit report. You're getting information in exchange for information. So it's really important to understand, should I be documenting this? Should I be putting this into spreadsheets and logs? I'm telling you right now, the way that credit has been going and the way that we've been reporting how these, I'm going to call them exactly what they are, habitual abusers, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, how they've been manipulating, how they've been using corrupt algorithms to keep individuals of color in financial harm's way. And this is, again, not just individuals of color, but I must emphasize the fact that individuals of color feel the brunt of this habitual abuse more than necessary. Okay, so it is still hurting, again, Anglo-Saxons, it is hurting, again, Asians, it is hurting Middle Eastern, it is hurting anyone who doesn't fully understand how these algorithms manipulate, deceive, prevent, delay, obstruct every possible word that you can think that puts you in harm's way. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are the three main reasons why your financial situations, when related to credit, aren't where they need to be. Do not, I'm telling you now, do not believe your score at face value, because there's some horrible things that are in there that if you only knew, you'd be equally as mortified as I am. And not that I'm just mortified, I'm planning on changing it. And the only way to change it is to get the community more involved. So that's the reason why, again, Leverage Your Score is here to help you understand this is what you have to do. The more people we bring to the understanding, the more resolve we'll be able to get. Onesies and twosies and threesies, that's all worth it. Absolutely, no question about it. But can you imagine if we were to get inside a union? Can you imagine if we were to get inside some of these local businesses and really help out the masses in the 10s and the 20s and the 30s, even possibly in the hundreds? Oh, then we can start making real change. And that's why I stated these shows are for that reason. Leverage Your Score is for that reason. Access Wealth Nation is for that reason. Soul City Network is specifically for that reason. We need our people to understand that you're going to want it more than we. So yes, if you're not sure, you should start immediately. You should start immediately with starting a log or some type of record keeping to make sure that your documents and the responses that you're getting back from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian pass the muster, or you can take these individuals to court. A lot of these companies do not want to go through the full court proceedings. They've already had it in their policies that it's all about mediation and arbitration, because they know what they're doing is flat out wrong. Flat out wrong. They know what they're doing is flat out wrong. And today's show is going to show you how to document, file, and then make sure we get the adequate response back from Equifax, Transunion, Experian, and also equally hold the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, accountable for also equally their malfeasance. It's just that simple. All right, so before we really get deep into it, let's find out some responsibilities. They have responsibilities. They have responsibilities. First, rights, basic needs. Everyone has the right to basic needs of life, such as water, food, and shelter. This guarantees survival and affordable prices for needed items. So your basics, food, shelter, and water. That's your basics. And we're going to add one more. And I just wanted to, again, I really left these out there without some information, but I wanted you to also add to that finances. Everyone should have a stable understanding about their finances. We should not be living paycheck to paycheck. We should not be living in these circumstances where, oh, I got to choose not to get this to do this. If we're substituting medical needs for other needs, then that's obviously means that something in our lives financially is not going accordingly. Second right, safety. Everyone has the right to be protected from marketing of harmful products. Equifax, Transunion, and Experian offer harmful products. Okay? They offer harmful products because they're not being upfront with how their algorithms are affecting you. They call it proprietary. Now, think about this for just a quick second. If a teacher gave you a test and you scored, say, low on that test, we know overall average is going to bring your overall average down. We get that. But say you took another test, different type of a test, but it still was another test, and your teacher took points off of that test because you got the other test wrong. Now think about that for a second. You have two tests now, but the teacher from the same teacher took points off the second test because of what you got wrong on the first test. This is what Equifax, Transunion, and Experian are doing with their algorithms. They're using data, old data. They're creating more harm than necessary, and it's creating this type of understanding within the communities that we don't understand how it works. We're looking around like, who do I talk to? Well, I'm telling you now, leverage credit recovery is someone you talk to. Harmful products, their marketing of harmful products is a problem. You got John Cena out there on the purple cow or purple and white cow talking about, oh, your credit. You got Samuel L. out there. You have, what's the tiny guy? Oh, my God. Kevin Hart. You got all of these promoters out there promoting products that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. These are harmful products charging you enormous interest rates. They're harmful products. They're marketing garbage. Be careful. You do have a right to safety. Third right, information. The third right that people have as consumers is the right to be informed. This is what this show does. It informs you. It keeps you up to date on the most important things about. Clearly, we're talking about credit. But if you ever want us to dive into anything else, please let us know. Shoot me an email, jump in at the website. Let me know what's on your mind, and I'll be more than happy to cover it for you. This means that they're protected against fraud and misleading information. Equifax, Transunion, and Experian are career fraudsters, okay? They lie, they steal, they cheat, They do everything known to man to protect their bottom line, and they could care less about us, the consumer. Don't let these habitual abusers of public trust continue to keep getting away with what they're getting away with. And today's show is going to help you with making sure that you understand how do I get my financial security back from these habitual abusers. Yes, this means that you're protected against fraud or misleading information, and that consumers will be given the needed information to make the right decisions. That's what this show is all about. Informed consumers are smart, savvy, wise consumers. Why would you not want to be an informed consumer? Why? Why would you want to go out there and be misled? It's now time to start doing better. Not just saying we're going to do better, but start actually doing better. There's your third right. And the fourth one, the right to choose. This is a choice here, everybody. This is a choice. This right gives the consumer the security of knowing that whatever product they choose, no matter the price, the product will be quality. That's it. Leverage credit recovery is always about quality. Quality, quantity over quality. That's the number one thing that you kind of learn in Business 101. Quality. Quantity means absolutely nothing because it could fall apart 2 seconds after you put it on or 2 seconds after you have it. And I can tell you right now, Equifax, Transunion, and Experian, their product is quantity. It's not quality, it's quantity. Let's get as many people in. Let's be billion-dollar entities, and let's just take advantage of consumers by conspiring with lawmakers, both on both sides of the aisle. Yes, I said both sides of the aisles, Democrats as well as Republicans. The CFPB was created by Elizabeth Warren and under the President Obama administration. Again, not taking nothing away from these individuals, but their oversight and their accountability, or they're holding individuals and corporations accountable to their malfeasance. They haven't been able to do a very good job. And if they can't do the good job, then God knows that I must do the good job. That's why I'm asking all of you, this information that you get on a daily basis, please do not hold on to it for yourself. Investigate it. If you believe that I'm giving you something that is not top notch, excuse me, feel free to call me out. Feel free to get an invite to this show because I'll bring you right on in. And we can sit here and hash out whatever it is that you might believe that I'm not disclosing as full and understanding. But I can tell you right now, haven't had a caller yet, haven't had anyone take me up on that because guess what? 98. I'm going to shoot that high. 98% of what I give to the public, I've already done my due diligence. I've already made sure that I've researched it prior to it coming to this type of a forum. So I'm ready for any takers. But as I said, be careful, be safe, be intelligent. It's your finances. And if you take care of that now, if you do what you need to now, prior to those resources rolling out, I'm telling you right now, 1.2 or 1.7, whatever that infrastructure is, don't quite know what the Build Back Better, but I think it's somewhere going to be on that same understanding, 1.2, 1.7, even 2 trillion. Again, just think about that. Trillions, that's 19 zeros. That's 19 zeros. So if they decide that they want to take care of the roads, they want to take care of the bridges, they want to make sure that individuals have decent housing, they want to make sure that seniors can get decent dental and vision and anything else that comes with health-related concerns, then this is what we should be doing. Naturally, but it's going to be up to us, the consumer, to equally understand that now that you're giving these resources, which we hope that you will be holding not only us, the consumer, accountable, but those who you are putting those resources into those hands, making sure that they equally are record keeping it, making sure that they know where every penny does. As a 76 Yankee, part of my overall duty as in the military, and Veterans Day is coming up, so congratulations to all my veteran family out there, all of the military family out there. We appreciate you, we love you, and we know that you are always doing the greatest of tasks, because I was one of you and I am still one of you. So I just wanted to give that extra special shout out to our veterans, which is coming up here on Thursday. But again, make sure you're doing what you need to be doing to stay safe. You have rights. You have rights. And if you know your rights, you even have them even more. But if you don't know your rights, they're just gone. All right. Okay, so understanding your credit report. This is critical. This right here is critical. You need to know what is inside that credit report. What's going on when you apply for credit? The companies from whom you're requesting it will check your credit report for one or more of the major consumer reporting agencies. Transunion, habitual abuser. Equifax, habitual abuser. Experian, habitual abuser. These are companies that use manipulative algorithms. They use high-tech weaponry to make sure that their bottom line is met and your credit profile is always suffering because of their failures to perform. It's just that simple. You think I'm kidding? Equifax, Transunion, Experian. You think I'm kidding? You representatives, you CEOs, you CFOs, you COOs. You think I'm joking? Why are you always at Congress testifying to how many times you have failed to do what you're supposed to do? HR resolutions. That's all we got to go back to. Look at the HR resolutions that have been put out about Equifax, Transunion, and Experian. Habitual abusers, not doing, but guess why they always get away with it? Because our politicians are in their back pocket. You're never going to be able to regulate companies that support your campaigns. And this is why Equifax, Transunion, and Experian get away with some of the egregious abuses to citizens ever known to man. Each agency reports, many look different, but they contain the same information. Technically the same information. Personal information, again, please remember this. The only thing that really needs to be on your credit report is just your current address, current birth date, and everything else doesn't need to be there. It does not need to be there. What do your past addresses need to be there for? There's no credit worthiness to your past addresses, so they do not need to be on your credit report. If you filled out a personal letter, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. If you did a personal letter stating the obvious, this is my only legal address that's on my driver's license, you can get those other items removed. Your employment, the only one that needs to be on there is your current employer. All that other stuff does not need to be there. Account information. Obviously, if you open up accounts, clearly, yes, if you're in good standing, poor standing, whatever the standings are, clearly they need to be on your credit report because that's something that each creditor looks at. And it's broken down, obviously, into understandings, your credit history, your length of payment, how often have you made your payments, credit mixes. So there's a lot of things that go into that account information that's really critical and it's really needed. And obviously, if you're doing good, you're going to have green all the way across the board. If there's some hiccups, you might have a little bit of yellow. And clearly, if there's some problems, you might have some red. But clearly, I did that as the understanding of red, yellow, green traffic signals because that makes the best understanding that everyone can easily understand. Green, you're good to go. Yellow, caution, and red, danger area. All right, public records. Public records mean, am I being sued? Are there accounts that are in the public arena, such as liens, bankruptcies, lawsuit, that become public record? That will have detrimental, when I say detrimental impact on your credit, you do not want to be in that realm, but I'm going to tell you two words: adverse inference. Adverse inference. I will never forget that word. Thank you so much, Rep. Jamie Raskin from the Trump first impeachment. That man helped me out tremendously with understanding some of these legal terms that can be applied today in our understanding. But that adverse inference, not responding, is a response. So this is number one reason why public records items become public record, because we don't respond when you're getting things in the mail. Again, this is what this is all about, to make sure that you know how to document it, that you know how to put it into a log, and that you can request the necessary changes or verifications if necessary. And if it doesn't, that documented record is going to help you out tremendously should you have to take the necessary legal understanding that is afforded to you as a consumer due to harmful products. All right? Please remember that one. Credit inquiries. We don't want to have too many credit inquiries on your credit report. I tell everybody, do not get more than 3 or 4 credit inquiries per year. And I've heard something now that even if you're getting a new credit product, they're actually reducing your history. So it's really some controversial issues out there when it comes to credit that really needs to be clarified. But clearly, you're never going to get the information from Equifax, Transunion, Experian, because they call this information proprietary. Nothing about you should be kept secret when it comes to how your finances are going to be more or less given to you by these entities. We're not their circus animals. We should not have to jump through hoops to get the basics. And the basics that I'm referring to is a report that is 100% accurate to me, the consumer. Just that simple. 100% accurate to me, the consumer. Any special messages that you can leave on there, and also the bureau contact information. Because calling them, in my opinion right now, is actually a joke. Why is it a joke? Because of the fact that you call, and who do you end up talking to? You end up talking to somebody in Bangladesh. You end up talking to somebody in Mexico. You end up talking to somebody in India. You end up talking to somebody in a third world country. Again, nothing against these countries. I understand you have to have employment as well. And if our, shall we say, these big entities choose to leave our country to go to another country to obviously give them a much, much lower wage, then clearly we, the consumer here, will not be getting the desirable outcome when it comes to our understanding when it comes to credit. Because a lot of those individuals, they know absolutely nothing. They can't tell you anything. They can't help you with anything. That's why I do what I do. We are going to start holding these credit reporting agencies foot to the fire. And if necessary, massive amounts of individuals need to come together, and we need to take the necessary legal actions, not just to send a message, but to get rid of these companies. This should never be a situation where it's in the hands of private entity. This should be a public forum where consumers get the most information possible to be able to make their financial standings related to credit as best they possibly can. It's just that simple. If you got a 300, 400, you need to be at 700. If you got a 400, 500, you need to be at 700. If you got a 600, 700, you need to be at 728. All the way across the board, 728. When you get into that 728 realm, your life related to credit will change tremendously. And it's not that hard to achieve. All right, keeping it moving. So we're going to take a sample look at Equifax. 3-in-1 monitoring with credit. Now that 3-in-1 means that Equifax could also equally get you the Transunion and Experian. All right. So again, make sure you understand what you are getting yourself into. A lot of these companies offer their credit monitoring service directly through the company. And that's fine. It's fine and dandy. But again, if you're paying for it, make sure it's accurate. I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's not. It's a bunch of gimmicks. It's a bunch of games. It's a bunch of shenanigans. It's not what we, the consumer, thinks. I'm telling you this because I've been doing this now for the last 15 years, and I've seen nothing but horrendous. I've seen some success, no question, but I've seen some horrendous delays, some horrendous preventions by these companies by not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, for instance, say you pay your bill. Once you've paid that bill, technically, by the contractual understanding that you have with whomever may have given you that loan, you have a contractual understanding that that will be reported accurately. Not when they deem it necessary, or not when Equifax, Transunion, and Experian deems it necessary, but the contractual understanding that you and your creditor deems necessary. They send you a statement that has the due date on it. And if you're anyone like myself, you're going to ask them, well, since you have a due date for me so that I don't get a late payment, then I need a report date from you. When are you reporting this to Equifax, Transunion, Experian? And most of the companies, if not all of the companies, because every single one of my credit cards tell me, we report on this day, we report on this day, we report on this day. And the most important thing about that reporting is that that helps you with making sure that you get the highest or the most of your due credit scoring understanding. But if, say, Experian decides to say, okay, let's hypothetical numbers, say your bill is due on the 10th, you make your payment on the 10th, you can't really technically use that product again until it actually gets reported. So you find out that it gets reported 3 to 5 days later. So we're going to say on the 15th, it's finally reported. You haven't used your product until say the 18th. But get this, Equifax, Transunion, Experian will say, you're just a nobody. We don't care about you, so we're not even going to report it on the 15th. We don't care about the contractual understanding that you have with your lender. We're going to report it when we deem it necessary to report. So on the 18th, you're using your product. On the 19th, you're using your product. On the 20th, you're using your product. So that obviously you brought your utilization down because it was up. You brought it down. And then you went out. You used your product, obviously, in that time frame, which it would have clearly had already reported. But say it didn't report. Say on that 15th, it didn't report. Say it didn't report until the following month on the 4th. So when they finally report it on the following month on the 4th, your utilization is now through the roof because they chose not to do, you, the consumer, the due diligence of reporting it per the contractual understanding as your lender has with you. That's a violation. That's fraud. Just that simple, fraud. So again, please be careful with these entities. If you're not checking your report, if you're not documenting every ounce and every step of the way, when you go to court, it's going to be a he said, she said type of situation. And court is going to be necessary. I'm telling you that right now. If you're someone who's been struggling with 650, 680, can't get past 680, can't get up, you might get up to 682, you might get up to 700, and then automatically you're back down to 625, and you still can't figure out why you can't break that 700 range. But I can tell you exactly why. It's their algorithm. As we've been saying, it's the economy stupid. No, I'm not calling anybody stupid, but as they have been talking about, it's the economy stupid. Well, it's your credit data, stupid. Stop believing a score that has been manipulated. Focus on that data. Well, here you have a clear example of what a Equifax credit report looks like. It's going to have all of your open accounts. It's going to have the total numbers that you have. It's going to have your balances, your availability, your credit line, debt to credit ratio. Clearly that we want that to be somewhere in that 23 percentile. Might have your monthly payments and accounts with balances. So all of this is factored in. Every ounce of what this is factored in to create a credit score. But if they're not going to, from the jump, give you that understanding of what you need to do, they're just going to keep feeding you with lies. And I'm going to put it out there. Lies. These companies do not live up to what they're supposed to do. And I can show anyone every single one of the House resolutions that they've put out. Every single one of the House resolutions. The last one that I read was so disturbing. And the saddest part about that last one that I read, it was almost identical to the one that I had read previously to that one. Detrimental. And again, all these individuals do, they get a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. Okay, we won't. Years go by, year 2, 3, 4 go by. They're back at Congress. Oh, don't do it again. Okay, we won't. It's a habitual cycle of deception. And we, the consumer, primarily African Americans, Hispanics, poor Anglos, poor Middle Eastern, middle class whites, middle class Middle Eastern, Asians, those of us in that lower echelon. That's where they're making the biggest bang for their buck, because when we have to settle for 18% on a car or 24% on a credit card, they're banking. They're banking. We should not be their meal tickets. It's just that simple. We should not be their meal tickets, and we need to make Congress understand that we're not even their meal tickets. If they can't live and do what the people want them to do, then we need to get rid of them equally while we're getting rid of Equifax, Transunion, and Experian. All right, here's an Experian credit report. Pretty much the same type of information. It's going to tell you about potential negative items. It's going to give you some accounts in good standings, requests for your credit histories, personal information in messages from the actual credit reporting agency, and the contact us. The contact us, again, laughable. Just that simple. As you can see, public records, we've talked about that because public records are something that could potentially end up on your credit profile if you have liens bankruptcies, judgments, things of that nature. And to prevent that, all you have to do is respond to whatever comes to you in the mail. Now, you're going to see on this report, as you did on the last report, there's a report number. And that report number is going to be something that's really important, along with that report date. Because when you start entering these into the particular logs, you're going to need all this information. Because I'm telling you, as sure as I am African American with this blue shirt, red and white hat, and this green rubber band on my arm, it's going to happen. You need to make sure that if legal understandings are going to be needed, if all your ducks are in a row, is all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, there's not going to be anything that any of these so-called professionals are going to be able to say. 15 years I've been doing this. 15. And I love every minute of it. I love every single minute of it, because I'm that type of expert witness that you're going to need, because I'm going to be able to speak more diligently about your circumstances that you might not be able to. And I'm also equally going to be able to speak even more diligently about the fact that these companies are taking advantage of consumers. Their lawyers are not there to do that. Their lawyers are there to give all kind of, well, this is a bad consumer, and this consumer should have did the right thing, Your Honor. They took on this loan and blah, 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 blah. Please. All that legal mumbo jumbo, please. It's not correct. They're speaking on behalf of someone. They don't even know the full facts. So, yes, I'm challenging all legal professionals as well. If you don't know what you're talking about, you might be confronted with an individual like me one day standing in front of you or standing opposing sides of you, discussing your malfeasance and why you're operating for a company that has misled you. Because they got you up there doing their bidding and you don't even know the information that you're supposed to know. You're just following a protocol because you think consumers are stupid. You think consumers don't know better. Well, you got to remember, some of us consumers have gone to the same prestigious education facilities as you have. And given that we have Kyrie Irving, who still thinks the world is flat and doesn't believe in vaccinations, being that we have this Rodgers dude from the Green Bay Packers who believes that immunization is vaccination, which again, these individuals have gone to prestigious schools. I believe that Rodgers person, they tapped him to be the Jeopardy host. Just found that out. But again, even going to prestigious schools can leave you dumbfounded, can leave you questioning your own education, which you shouldn't be. Nurses questioning vaccination, my apologies. Police officers and firefighters. Oh, well, come on, people, wake up. There's no need for this nonsense. All right, but it's the same thing when it goes to this right here. These companies don't care for you. All they care about is their bottom line. You want to hold their feet to the fire? We need to start doing it today. Not tomorrow, but today. You want to see deletions? You want to see corrections? You want to see your score go from where it is to 50, 100, maybe 150 points higher than what it is today or this month or next month, and continue on that upwards trajectory? Well, this is why we do what we do right here. And the last one, TransUnion. Again, most of these reports, well, all of the reports should have some form of a file number because you're going to need that file number. You're going to need the date the report was created on. Okay, TransUnion's report is a little bit less informative, but again, pretty much the same information. You're going to have your addresses here, your personal information, some of the telephones. Again, this types of information doesn't really belong on your credit profile. Doesn't really belong there. And you, as the consumer, are the only one who can get it off. And you're going to have to, unfortunately, it's going to have to be more than one letter. Now, under normal circumstances, if it was one letter and it went to a person, guess what would happen? You'd probably see the deletion a lot quicker. But since they use eOscar, everybody look that up. It's called eOscar. Since they use eOscar, guess what happens? You don't get to have that understanding. It's a computer. Your information gets scanned into a computer. That computer has already codes. It doesn't even make it back to the entity that has given you that loan. The entity and Equifax, Transunion, Experian have already made out a separate contract that they're going to follow. They're going to disregard the one that you have with the entity, and they're going to keep doing this as they have been over and over and over and over and over and over and over. They're going to wear you down, because they know that we're lackadaisical. They know that we don't have the due diligence to stay the course. But those of us who do, or those of us who don't, now you have a business like Leverage Credit Recovery that will help you get to that next level. And this is all, as I stated, if you want to go the free route, I'll help you out for free. I have no problem, zero problem. You're going to put in the work, but I have no problem. I'll give a course. I'll help anyone. I'll help YMCAs. I'll help nonprofit organizations. I'll help any business, any consumer that wants the help. You want the help? All you got to do, again, call me. Erykah Badu has given everybody permission to call Tyrone. I love saying that. I love it. And I can't thank Erykah Badu enough for that. But yes, call Tyrone, Leverage Credit Recovery. All right, we're going to keep it moving. So, time we started documenting our findings, results, and violations. So, here's some things that I want you guys to really start thinking about. Your challenge letter. Why do we call them challenge letter? Because we don't want to call them dispute letters. Why would you call a dispute letter? A dispute, basically, if you look it up properly, a dispute means I did not do this. So, if you didn't do it, perfect understanding. So, they're already setting you up for failure by calling it a dispute letter. You're challenging the validity of their accuracy of your information. That's why stop letting them control the narrative. A Goodwill letter. If there's an item on there that might be directly, instead of going through Equifax, Transunion, Experian, you might get better results from the actual entity. If you had one late payment in 5 years and that late payment was preventing you from getting that mortgage, well, a Goodwill letter would be a simple way of helping that entity understand, hey, I've been with you for X, Y, and Z amount of time frame, and this late item, which probably should have been removed a long time ago, is preventing me from. Could you be so kind as to? And then clearly, if they respond back with, no, then clearly you don't want to be doing business with entities that don't take you as a valued consumer. Small claims letters. Yes, we're going to have to take some of these entities to small claims court. You can. Don't think for a second that just because you go to court, it's going to be a ruling not in your favor. These companies do not, and I'm telling everybody right now, they do not want to go to court. They want to meet you somewhere halfway. But if they meet you halfway and you agree, then you must equally make sure that you're documenting these findings, these understandings. If you pay something and you're not documenting, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, months, years later, it comes back to bite you in the butt because you didn't have the proper documentation. Well, here it is. We're solving that now. Phone logs, creditor logs. Again, you're going to be making phone calls. You're going to have all your creditors listed in a log so that you know, I pay this on the 1st. It's supposed to be reported on the 5th. It didn't get reported until the 9th. There is a violation. Just that simple. That's all it is. You keep a good record keeping. You keep a great understanding. And guess what you'll have? You'll have everything you need should you have to take necessary legal understandings and personal information letters. There's a lot of stuff on your credit report that doesn't need to be there. And just by orchestrating and delivering a well-written personal information letter, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get some of these items removed. You're going to see your credit scores go up. These individual companies understand that they're getting away with bloody murder, and they need to start being held accountable. It's just that simple. All right, so here's my first personal letter that I would suggest everyone literally start mailing out. All right, I'm writing an update. Correct my personal information on my file with your company. You're telling them, who am I? My only legal name is. My only social security number is. My only correct date of birth is my only employer, is my only phone number, is. And very simple. Please remove all the other addresses off my report, as they are not deliverable to me by the U.S. Post Office, and they are not a report, and they are not a reportable as per the FCR, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, since they are inaccurate. Period. And you keep sending this. You keep sending it. You keep sending it. You keep sending it. You keep sending it. You drive them just like they drive you crazy. You keep sending it, you keep sending it, and you keep recording it. You keep sending it, you keep recording it. You keep sending it, you keep recording it. The more information that you have to be able to present to anyone who's going to be mediating or arbitrating, they're going to look at you and go, wow, you did a pretty good job. And what is that company going to say? Well, we never received anything. Well, again, we're smart enough to know we're not just going to record it. We're going to also send it with a certified receipt return. So they can't say Jane, John, Tim, Bob, Matt, Jeffrey, whoever didn't receive it, because their name is going to be right on that card. Thanking them sincerely, putting it in an envelope, mailing it right off. That's your first step to getting 60 points right there. 60 points almost immediately with correcting information that is not, again, deliverable. It's got to be accurate. It's got to be accurate. Bottom line. All right, here's another letter that I decided to also pull out. This is a challenge letter. This trade line being reported, all my credit reports are being reported voluntarily by the provider. Voluntarily. Here's one of those HRs that I was talking about, the House the House Resolution 6116-363, Improving Credit Reporting for All Consumers Act. Experian nor the credit reporting industries has ever lived up to their contractual obligation reporting accurate and accountable set forth by the legislators or regulators which govern Experian as your industry and your industry. They've never lived up to. Never, 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 never. Absolutely never. They've never lived up to what they're supposed to. This letter is regarding the following inaccurate trade lines, and I call them trade lines because exactly what they are. Entries on my credit report. And this is just to highlight a few of these trade line entries that some consumers, again, well-written, discussed understandings, and asking for them to take the necessary steps. And should they not? This is some of the things that we're going to be looking for. Please also be aware any negative marks found on my credit report, including Experian, Transunion, and Equifax from your company and any companies which you represent for a debt which I do not owe, is a violation of the FCRA and the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. Therefore, if you cannot validate the debt, you must request all credit reporting agencies delete the trade lines entries immediately. Pending the outcome of my investigation of any evidence which you submit, you are instructed to take no actions which could be detrimental to any of my credit reports. Failure to respond within 30 days of the receipt of this certified letter may result in small claims legal action, against the company at my local venue. So they're going to have to come down to your house. And here's some of the things that you can get them on. Defamation, negligence, embezzlement, good Lord, that's a challenging one. For identity fraud. All right, violations of the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act and violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That's all it is. That's all it is. Having the information there so that we can hold these individuals accountable. All right, it's just that simple. If we start orchestrating our letters properly and we start adding the information that's going to get the desirable outcome, and here's one, please note, any automated response or e-Oscar verifications is unacceptable and will not be accepted as proof of validation. That right there is the key. That's the key right there. We're not accepting your garbage. We're not accepting something that has not been approved by Congress or by law. But yet you as an entity went out and decided to implore these tactics, which are, again, in violation. It's not going to happen. And then follow it up with, I've also made sure I'm including a copy of my complaint to the organizations below. CFPB, Attorney General, FTC, wherever you want to send it. All right, so here's some of those logs that I was referring to. And we got about 4 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up really quick. There's that challenge letter log. You can see it's got a lot of information that needs to be put in there, as long as we're able to show what we are doing and it's accurate, we can hold their feet to the fire. Here's your Goodwill letter. This is, again, if you are having some situations just with the creditor themselves. You don't necessarily need to go through Equifax, Transunion, Experian. But, again, it's also that route. You can take that as well. But here it is, again, a log that's going to allow for you to accurately document your findings and results. Small claims court, same exact thing. If you got anything going through the courts, this is an excellent way of being able to monitor, check it, fill in all of the necessary information so that, again, should you have to, or should you already be in a legal action, all of your information is in one location. You don't have to keep trying to dig through paperwork to find out what is what. Your phone log for any companies. And lastly, your creditor log. You want to know where, when, and how things are being reported to those creditors and whether or not your end of the contract and understanding is being upheld. All right, so the best place to go to get your credit report. Stop using third-party monitoring systems, annualcreditreport.com. The only source for your free credit report. To obtain your credit report, visit annualcreditreport.com or call 877-322-8228. Again, 877-322-8228. Stop paying for third-party monitoring systems that will not do what they're supposed to do. Stop it today. Cancel every single third-party monitoring system that you have. Don't believe that guy who talks about my man. Don't believe that guy because it's the hype. Don't believe any of these individual companies out there that's trying to ask you to pay for something because you don't need to do it. I'm telling you right now, you don't. You can get a free one. Your data makes up your score. So if your data is incorrect, your score is incorrect. And lastly, don't forget to give credit where credit is due. We love you, folks. We appreciate you. Email us at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. Go to the website, leveragecreditrecovery.com, or just reach out and give us a call, 805-428-9424. This is what we do, folks. We do this every single week. This is why we appreciate you. This is why we love you. This is why I'm going to continuously keep doing this week in and week out, every single Tuesday. This is why I always give a shout out to my mentor, one of my best financial gurus that I possibly ever had the pleasure of knowing and just building off of that friendship, Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse. Because again, when you have somebody like that in your corner who can more or less just seal the deal. That's basically what it is. Seal the deal. I get you to where you need to be, and she takes you the rest of the way. It's just that simple. I get you to where you need to be, and Dr. Yana B takes you the rest of the way, making sure that all your financial situations are duly covered because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. You're going to need us more than you possibly could ever imagine. And now that they have all of these trillions of dollars that are going to be making their way through the system. If you miss out, you're missing out because you didn't do your part. It's just that simple. If you miss out on not being a homeowner, if you miss out on not being able to buy that new car because the old one is about ready to be on its last leg, if you miss out on not being able to get that job, if you miss out, and I know credit is not really a job-specific understanding, but could have some impact. I want to thank everybody for taking the time, for making the time. Leverage Credit Recovery appreciates you. And again, one more quick shout out to my girl, Shatika, Big Hands, Garrison, making it happen. Congratulations, young lady. Everybody, this is Leverage Credit Recovery. My name is Tyrone Glover. I am your Dress Down CEO. Please visit our website. please shoot me an email or just drop me a line, 805-428-9424. I appreciate you. I love you. America, please be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.